See a massive amount of counter battery already, reducing this unit down to nothing. An instant rouse off of there is a great start to this battle already. Let's see if we can... Hello and welcome back everyone to Napoleon Total War as the British. I do apologise for the couple-week hiatus we've taken on this particular video. In truth, been trying to put it off, to be honest. I'm not looking forward to today's massive undertaking of capturing Paris. Did also watch the Napoleon film, which took up 1 week, and well, less said about that the better. It's god awful. So that's time we've we've lost. But we did also make the Kingdom of Holland our protectorate after destroying the Batavian Republic in the previous video as well. So we have France very much surrounded. This will be the largest army, I believe, it does have available. If we come down southwards, we do see some semblance of an army over here, led by Duroc over here, and we do have some bastard army over here, no doubt retreating from a previous battle we took with Wellesley, who is waiting to replenish for a couple of turns in Marseille, of course. We do have Schwarzenberg over here. As a reinforcement, the Austrians have taken all of the French's Italian-based provinces, so they will have, of course, still Ajaccio over here in Corsica, which is, well, we can take that later on, and we do still have to worry about Parma over here. It's just a massive amount of militia guarding that, and we have tried to crack that nut before, but I think we need to go with two armies really to get men on the ground there. So let's not waste any more time, although a quick cursory look at our technology would be advisable, and we are going to get carcass shots in 6 turns. We're upgrading to get a grand or an ordnance board within 4 turns, which is excellent there. So we also just need a bit of money to upgrade to a military academy, making 10,000 per turn. Absolutely brilliant. We can do that if we do so fancy next turn. But let's have a look and remind ourselves we do want to take this battle right now. Fully recovered here, a lot of chevroned units, excellent stuff. Let's see what the enemy has. A lot of colonne attack, and that does mean they will be able to hold the line for quite some time. They do have the artillery advantage as well, with 4 units. We have 6-pounder horse artillery, 8-pounder foot, and that is rather nasty indeed. They do have some chasseurs cheval, so they have the cavalry advantage in numbers there at least. Do have 1 unit of reinforcing militia outside as well. But I think really we should be okay to take this. There's no old or young guard. The most elite trained unit will be the Hibernians over here, and of course the Swiss as ever. But I think really it's nothing too out of the ordinary. Just gonna have to see how the map looks when we get in and go. So, lay of the land, what can we do here? Well, we are attacking, so the enemy will be taking a more defensive position, so we are going to have to move forwards onto this hill, I think, if we can, if the enemy does want to let us indeed. But if that is the case, they'll try and take this wooded area as some natural cover, and that does not work in our favour exactly, does it? That's a very interesting bonus between these two pieces of terrain here, and it's not like this hill is the most elevated hill on that we've ever seen either. So we're going to be very much fighting in the open. We have a lot of disadvantages, you know, as far as the ground is concerned, as far as the territory is concerned and such. I do wonder if we want to perhaps leave open a couple of areas in the centre, really spread out some infantry where we can on the flanks, force the enemy into our cannons where we can fire some amazing canister shot right into their lines. That might be an idea. That would be a lot easier if we had horse artillery, but we don't, so we do have to work very slowly with the foot-based cannons. Now, as we have finalised our orders over here, what we're going to do is create 2 very strong flanks. We are going to put all of our cavalry onto this right flank over here. It's simply a little more open, allows the cavalry some more manoeuvrability, but otherwise we do have some units of 3 standard line, very chevroned up units, and some King's German Legion to make a very strong flank attack on the right side here. As far as the centre goes, we're making this just a unit of Black Brunswickers and some Swiss line to protect our cannons, who are in fact going to take this hill as we suggested earlier. I think that is probably the best way to go for now. Hopefully we can force the enemy into our false centre here. We're going to borrow that sort of tactic, develop Napoleon's tactic from Austerlitz by creating some just standard British line over here and some Swiss grenadiers over here to support from this gap. They will pull back and look like they're more to support the flanking units over here, and then they can perhaps take the hill here and the fence, as we can see here, the wall as cover to push in as the enemy moves closer to our cannons and such. We've done pretty much the same thing over here. We've decided to deploy a little bit more, spread out and broken here. That's absolutely not a problem. Going to form two very fat blocks over here to create this false gap in the centre between our flank and such over here. And that should help the enemy be tempted right into our centre, where we will unload with canister shots who deal the majority of the damage in the centre here, and the tree cover will not be a lot of help against that. So what is the enemy's formation looking like? We have some chasseurs cheval over here and some colonne d'attaque supported by the regiment Hibernia on the enemy's right flank. And of course they've bunched up with a lot of colonne d'attaque, fusiliers, French marinieri over here, mariners. That's just a very, very nasty unit once again, just that much better than their standard fusiliers. We have the Hibernia in the centre as well, so the enemy's gone very centre heavy, and we need to draw them out of this city, because this is really going to provide them a massive defensive bonus, especially with these spike traps as well, which do rip apart your cavalry. Cannot be overstated how dangerous these are to any cavalry which stray anywhere near them. They've not set up their cannons yet, which does suggest they're either waiting for us or they want to see how to maneuver to counter against us. The enemy does not have a true general, so they do have an acting general somewhere. I've not spotted that, here we go, just yet. It is in fact some chasseurs cheval, so that does mean they are going to be fairly easy to destroy if they do come into contact with a couple units of our main line infantry. A simple square will demolish them. But of course, that's up to the enemies to make that mistake. So we've pretty much come up with our own lines. It does only help to unlimber our cannons now, get the first few shots out to tempt the enemy out. It's absolutely going to be within range. I'm going to take them off of fire at will, and just wait for our own cannons to truly unlimber there. Okay, so what do we want to fire at first? Quite likely the Hibernia, or even get some shots onto the artillery ourselves, because then the cannonballs could bounce through into the colonne d'attaque over here, and perhaps even into the cavalry, which we might want to decide to fire at a little more directly. Let's see how our cannons travel through here first to get the opening shots out. Yeah, we can see a massive amount of counter battery already, reducing this unit down to nothing. An instant rouse off of there is a great start to this battle already. Let's see if we can do that again. Try our luck. And we will move to barrage shots here to reduce our reload time. So we'll see how that comes through. We'll take a small time to reload there. But the enemy are now reacting, and we'll see how they shift their lines. It looks like we're taking some shots already. We're going to have to double time this actually. Checking the enemy's cavalry coming in here. Might want to form a square, but with the thick lines here they won't penetrate too much with a charge. And we do have a massive amount of guns ready and aiming towards the cavalry over here. So I'm not too bothered about a single unit of chasseurs cheval over here for now. We can see reducing their numbers down quite drastically, their morale shifting very, very heavily indeed. Still sorting out our own lines apparently. Are we facing the wrong way? Just sorting out the lines. Okay, let's move up over here very quickly, and move up over here very quickly, and that gives us some room to perform some square on the side here so that we don't hurt our own units, and that will just deter the enemy even more. Actually looking to see, we are getting the tiniest bit of friendly fire on the side there. Let's take off fire at will here. The enemy is in fact retreating there. How are we looking towards the cannons over here? Not really done too much, so let's get them over here. And this is a message to say that the enemy is bringing in their reinforcements. They've got enough units routed off to see those appear. Do we see exactly where it is? Just the centre rear. That's absolutely fine. Once again, only units of militia, not the worst there. Chasseurs cheval deciding to return, are they? Let's push in with this flank and we can spread out our lines here. Move here. We'll spread out a tad. Are we still firing with our cannons? I bloody hope so. Looks like we're somewhat idling. Okay, let's see if we can fire into here. Sometimes a little unresponsive. Here we go. Okay, let's see how that lands then. Yeah, coming straight through the middle of this formation. You pick up a lot of casualties there. Chasseurs Cheval really lowering their numbers. Got into the, what is this? The French Hussards and the Fusiliers over here. We'll leave that attack order on then. It looks like the enemy wants a bunch over here. We want to spread out our men over here a little bit just because we're attracting some cannon fire ourselves. We want to reduce the losses from that. So it looks like the Chasseurs Cheval are going to exit the map fairly soon. How many men were left there? 36. Absolutely fine. Let's push in a little harder here then. Spread out because we will be wanting to get as many men firing as possible very, very soon with this colonne attack becoming ever closer. We do see some cavalry coming now. Probably want to push over to the lip of the hill a little bit more here. But we will change the canister shot. And one volley out of there should really do the job. You can see that's not quite as effective as we'd have liked, so we might just move to the brow of the hill here, which is taking a few of the shots and absorbing that before the enemy moves in there. So we will take the time to limber up and just inch forwards a tad. That does mean we have to protect our cannons just that little bit harder here. That does bring our infantry here the opportunity to move over the brow as well. So we can see we are encircling the French, and I don't want to move this particular formation much further. In fact, what we can do is pull back a tad with this, because we want to use this wall to our advantage where possible, because the enemy will be firing downhill here actually, if given the chance. So we'll come back ourselves. There's no need to rush, absolutely no need to rush. Enemies decided to come back with the Chasseurs Cheval, but will be stood right in our face. So once we finish reloading here, we should be absolutely fine. Still taking some shots ourselves. What are they doing? I think we should certainly square because they're getting around the back of us. And we can move our cannons very tidily over here. Are they going to try and snipe our general? Probably not possible because we've now got our reserve units firing as well. And that should force a true retreat here. They are broken, but are they shattered? Not quite. Now they are, and that's excellent. So that's 2 units of enemy cavalry down. We're going to make sure we're back on fire at will with this particular unit because we did forget to reactivate that. And the enemy is finally coming into our right flank with some mariners over here and some colonne attack, backed up by some Swiss line somewhat passively there. So, going to bring this unit round, and we're going to come around with 2 units of cavalry over here, 1 over here. We might want to bring our general through actually, just because we're going to start losing morale fairly quickly over here. Now we're looking on this side, waiting for the Swiss line and masses of colonne attack there. Okay, did we unlimber here? No, we did not. So let's do that. And we'll just give them a bit of space with the Black Brunswickers there. Checking line of fire over here on the Swiss line, absolutely fine there. How are we looking here? Okay, looks like we should probably move up a tad. This unit, not too bothered about firing, are they? They look like they're about to send out. Yeah, they certainly are going to go to the side of the mariners over here. This unit's certainly firing out. We should have those fairly okay. I think what we'll do is do a block charge over here with this unit of cavalry. Let's double time that. We'll have to worry about the militia over here a tad. I think we send in 1 unit of cavalry here. We will send that in diamond formation so that can pull through the formation there a little easier. How we're doing over here, let's give that some support and fire through this mess over here in the centre. If they do decide to load up, that would be great. Come on. You can do it, guys. It's not difficult. Please. Say following orders, but I see no sign. Pull them back on a fire at will, see what they do. They do have sight. It's very interesting there, but we can't neglect the opportunities over here. So we're going to block charge from this position. Diamond has been performed. Militia cannot form a square, so we're going to run right into that. Try and time that with this particular charge. Where actually, are they forming a square? No, they're simply pulling their formation over. Let that fire continue for now. Stop fire at will here, so we don't fire into the backs of our cavalry. Stop that here as well for now. 2 in-sync cavalry charges here will keep the mariners over here on a route. Get the militia, pull these through, thank you very much. Perhaps straight through these mariners over here. Form over here, thank you. Please charge through. Use your diamond formation correctly would be great. 2 units are routing, so it might just pull back here where possible, because we'll be under fire from this second unit, which has lost a lot of people already. Very likely to our good cannon fire previously. Are we now firing? Still no sign of it. Let's see if we can fire out here to this column attack. Starting to wish we had mortars. Still waiting for the enemy to abandon the city in this area, but we have pulled out with our cavalry and we'll do that just a little more succinctly there and push up with our generals who support our morale here. So very, very battered units of militia, not quite down to half capacity, but the mariners over here, 75 men out of 320, but they will come back later on, but we can batter them later. So we're wondering what to do over here. Perhaps we can move our cannons then over to this hill and move our weak centre even more forward onto this massive clump of infantry and get some excellent cannon fire into there. So we'll take the reverse side of the hill with our infantry to begin with, hide in the woodland over here, and that will support this particular flank as well. A little broken in our formation, but absolutely not to worry at the moment. Those are supporting lines. What we can do is push very, very aggressively onto this hill line here. We do need to remember that we have these reserve units to bring up as well to support. Bring these out of diamond for now. This makes things a tad easier. And what we can do is, we've lost a fair few men here. I think what we do is we just retreat very quickly before the enemy starts firing out with these mariners over here. Come back. And start moving over here. Just break up our lines a tad. Just gives our cavalry a little more room to maneuver. So we can create these false gaps over here. Okay, so as we start moving our centre, we've got a little skirmish with this militia units over here. Going to batter that down once again. Massive use of our fire barrack by both regiments over here, and that will surround the enemy and just encourage them to retreat once again. Whether that's going to be a true surrender or not, we're not too sure yet. Just about within our range there, but they will be protected by the tree cover. And they have the time for us to reload as well, which is a shame. So it's quite the ask getting our foot artillery to really move this distance, of course. Really appreciating the wonders of horse artillery with this, actually, the mobility that brings. But we're very nearly there. Very much under a danger close situation with the massive amount of enemy artillery here, so we're going to start taking even more losses. That does mean we're going to have to close both of our flanks and really surround the enemy, and that does go against our opening hopes that we were going to fight outside of the city, but unfortunately just not going to be the case. Enemy does not want to budge, so we're going to just encourage them to come out a little bit, I think, and perhaps try and force a melee engagement. And the reason we couldn't fire previously with our cannons was because didn't take them off of canister shots. We've just realised that we lost a cannon here. Very lucky from the enemy there. So there's a bit of a mistake there previously, but not too much of a bother. Not too much of a bother. I think now we need to close this gap though. So we have some acting general flanking us. Okay, we'll certainly take that. We'll take a unit of cavalry to engage us in melee. push very aggressively over here. Very, very aggressively indeed. And now we're very much in range for an excellent canister shot right into this massive amount of colonne attack. That's over 1,000 men, or over 2,000 men right in front of our possible canister shot. Very slowly reloading though. We do need to get on that very, very quickly. Let's turn around these units here. Get some fire off. Enemy has pretty much abandoned the flank over here, so we're just going to push in pretty much brain dead over here. Bring in our reserves over here. We did shift over a unit of cavalry to perhaps help there, but let's see how our cannons are doing. Massive losses in the centre over here, as you would expect. Let's bring up the reserves over here to fill the gap. Cavalry aren't going to do too much on that flank now. Let's square over here. Take this engagement. What's this? The militia coming in for a third push. Huge swathes of grape shots coming through here into this colonne attack, ripping them apart there. Absolutely disgusting. Using the most powerful shot in this game is canister shot. Let's move that to the Hibernia. Get our cavalry a little more succinctly over here, please. Do outmatch these chasseurs cheval in melee, especially with the reduced units over here. Absolutely brilliant. Lovely British square over there. Under fire. We will turn off fire at will just so we don't shoot our own cavalry in the back once again. We will have to remember to come back to that. Ripping the enemy apart over here. The more elite units with our canister shot once again. And that does of course fly through to other units, such as this Swiss line now coming in. We have battered the enemy general. So we'll cancel this particular square. Push over. Take this tree and hill line. Push even harder over here. Gonna have to tidy that up a tad. Move up to increase the amount of firepower very, very aggressively here indeed. We do see even more canister shot coming out here. Oh, we're reloading, losing another cannon there. Rather sad. We only have one cannon left in this particular unit. But the enemy's coming in for a massive, massive charge now. It's very much like the film Napoleon now, isn't it? For anyone that's watched that. Absolutely terrible. Battle of Austerlitz was very disappointing in that, actually. Anyone catch the part where Napoleon said, take the high ground? So they ran down the hill into the valley. Because that's what high ground is. So we're absolutely destroying the French centre now. Look at how quickly that has routed. Just surrounding the colonne attack, which does still have that massive staying power there. Simply because of the weight of numbers. But we're now closing this particular gap, which has seen very little action. I think what we do is we very cheekily take this building, which gives us an elevation advantage, push over here into this gap, and then we push this little gap here. It's a very nasty looking formations. Perhaps we can squeeze into this house as well. We'll have excess men there. It doesn't quite hold a full regiment, that. Close this gap a bit. Canister still firing onto the Swiss line will force them to retreat out, which is excellent. Let's make this a little more succinct. They're a tad outside of our canister shot range, so we'll move to round shot and just come through to the massive blob there. Another barrage, because we do have that available with a few more charges left. You can see running straight through the centre, which is absolutely brilliant. So it looks like colonne attack want to have another go at us. We're going to push forwards to support our units over here. Make sure we do hold this tree advantage. Massive cover advantage, which does reduce our outgoing firepower on one side. But once we get a good elevation and cover advantage there for us, already firing out there and incurring losses to the colonne attack here. Which are wavering already, very tired. Getting an elevated rank fire over here would be absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Let's take it from their perspective there. See the bullets come flying through. Absolutely disgusting there. You can see the morale going up and down. Getting supported by cavalry now, so may have to perform some squares now. What do we have over here? Some more Swiss line. Let's get another square as the enemy charges uphill, perhaps. Nope, changing their mind. Umming and ahhing about this is the worst thing they should do. They need to commit to this to have any effect onto us. But of course not happening. So, looks like we have some of our own cavalry running away over here. Oh, just under artillery fire. That's fine, I suppose. There's our general. Speaking of. Wiped, you can see the massive blob of corpses from the colonne attack there. Okay, let's guess our cannons once again. Because we should be canistering into the Swiss once again over here. We have taken these positions over here to fire into the flanks of the colonne attack and such, right behind the enemy here. Won't be able to fire it with all of our units here, of course, but we are in a good position for any fire to be extremely effective. Are we firing out once again? We certainly are. See the massive losses incurred over here. Absolutely huge. Let's try and push in a tab with this flank and take this hill very aggressively once again. Double time that, so don't care how tired you are. We will be pushing up. This unit will not be incurring any losses on us. They're now routing off, so that lets us push even harder as we want to there. We don't need these squares over here anymore. In fact, that will hinder us against the colonne attack, who are on the reverse slope over here. I wonder if we can get some cheeky canister downwind there and downhill. Get the onto this Swiss over here, would be great. See how effective that is with the line of sight here. Might not be great. Running low on ammunition on one unit of foot actually, so that's something we need to be wary of. And that is a unit that's pushing this aggressively here. Yeah, it looks like we're getting some good canister shots down here, so that'll be useful. Might want to push a little more onto this flank, get some very nasty volley fire out here. And that is excellent. French centre truly crumbling now, and it really is just down to these cannons now to save the day. So I think really we're going to engage in melee with the unit with reduced ammo, charge down the cannons, and that will be a battle very nicely won indeed. Just need to watch this train of infantry and make sure they don't come back is the aim of the game there. So we'll just order a unit of cavalry over here into them. It is the job of light cavalry. Engaging in melee, are we catching them? Let's move even further down while the cannons are firing canister into this flank over here. Moving away, taking this unit off of their cannons. Let's charge even harder than ignore them. Yet they are going to retreat. And that is a done deal there. And Paris is, of course, ours. Excellent. Unless anyone wants to have another word, we do have some returning colonne attack there. Okay. Okay, what do we do about that? Charge some cavalry, and I think here, doing their job. And that would be about it. They're very, very loose here, so any charges are going to be very effective. Just wiping them out one by one. We'll keep this on fast forward. There's no need to wait around too much there. Just at the mercy of the enemy's very staunch morale, actually. But a bit comical to watch. Let's just reissue that order. And they're rousing. But of course, we see some horse artillerymen coming back to run them down. That should be pretty instant retreats. And is that that? It certainly is. Finally, Paris is ours. And that is something we've been waiting to say with a heroic victory as well for quite some time. The Napoleon's end is finally here. So we lost 845 men, perfectly acceptable for taking Paris. Of course, now the struggle here is going to be keeping hold of Paris. And we'll see, because even with the garrison, -11, -13 public order there. It's unfortunate we can't liberate that actually and turn that into a puppet state. That would have been very strategically sound, but a massive money maker, and of course capital there will be ours. We do have to wait. Do we have to wait? Yeah, we have to wait for quite some time to really afford to upgrade any of these buildings. So we can't afford this, so we'll repair this for now. Grasp of the shovel, so +1 to command when besieging with Michael's Stolen. Very well, that is indeed. That's going to take a good amount of turns to replenish fully there. And the job of London now will be to bring over some militia to help police this area, and we will want to bring over both supporting armies from this area as quickly as possible to deal with, of course, any rebels which will spawn within a good few turns very quickly over here. We do need some military access apparently with the Kingdom of Prussia, do we? We're allied with them, shouldn't be the case. Offer a fair trade with that then. Want all of our remaining money, but we need to get ahead of this as quickly as possible. Bring this down really. Okay, so Wellesley, it looks like the enemy might want to invade Toulouse over here. Not a lot we can do about that at the moment. Not too much we can do about that at the moment. We can only end the turn and see what happens. Okay, so of course we have that letter of demands from Paris. Workers are on strike. Massive unrest here. That's going to take far too long to wait for that to calm down. We do of course have the militia coming out of Normandy. I completely forgot about that. So we do have some merchant ships available, as well as some good construction with the merchant house in Nice. We do have a barracks in Caen as well, which is very useful, and some magistrates about. But of course, as we predicted, enemy is going to start moving towards southern France and try and take Bordeaux and Aquitaine. So we're going to want to counter, of course, with Wellesley over here, and that will take some time. We're just blocking our own path here very quickly, so we'll move this about. There we go, that opens up, makes things a lot easier. If we move into Toulouse, that's excellent. Move the militia over here to deal with any unrest. How is our replenishment? That's absolutely fine. Would be even better over here because we do have the supply warehouse. That's absolutely fine. You can certainly live with that. So that's really a minor problem when compared to the unrest over here. How much difference does the militia make? Because they do get a policing bonus. Standard troops don't. That does help a tiny bit. It helps a tiny bit. We will be replenished actually very, very quickly. Less turns than I was expecting, so we'll be able to batter down at least one unit or one army coming out of the French, and just replenishing, repairing these buildings will help as well with general happiness. I think, how much is Clamour for Reform hurting us? Only one. So really repairing this or changing up the school isn't going to help us too much there. Do we have any other buildings? Got the iron mine, does provide a minor. It doesn't provide unrest, it's just the manufactories then that do. Let's try and move over here, sabotage the minor army, stop it from raiding us. That does work, which is excellent, but this particular agent not quite in range to sabotage the main threat, and that is a shame. That is very much a shame. Do we have any closer agents? Let's see. We have, of course, Percival Slaughter in Paris, but is he in range? He's certainly not. We don't need him spying anymore, that's for certain. So what we can do is actually use him to sabotage this particular army and make sure we don't get harassed. No, 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 no. That's horrible. Absolutely horrible. Worst thing to happen. You have a massive fleet occurring actually over here. It's rather nasty. It's even got a 74 gunner there. You'd expect the first ship to be something similar. Brig will be repairing there, or the frigate will be. It's got 0 guns. Some merchantmen as well. That's interesting. We'll have to have a word with that soon. Let's move these ships over into this fleet, which is excellent. Nearly topped that off. The merchant navy is very strong there. Nelson, I believe, was towards Marseille. He certainly was. What about these two? I think they can conjoin over here. And my own naval skills are absolutely terrible. So just always like to take the pessimistic outlook and think we're going to lose any upcoming engagements like this. I only really feel comfortable with Nelson at the moment. We can upgrade that. Can upgrade that. Do we do that immediately? We get the Coldstream Guards and Grenadiers with the Darth mod. It's going to take 10 turns. We might as well do it earlier. There's not a lot of building we can do to really help out Paris at the moment. I was hoping to grab some more militia, but they're not going to come out in time to actually stop a revolution army. So actually upgrading to the military academy will help at the moment, and we can just recruit some fencibles here anyway, and that'll be fine. We can get as many as we can afford for now. Can we grab some emergency funds from our allies? If we offer mass mobilization to the Russians, perhaps we can offer some... Oh, we do have military access going anyway, that's absolutely fine. If we demand a payment of 1,000 for that, what do they say? They say yes, that's very good indeed. What about the Kingdom of Prussia? How does their technology look? They actually have the abolition of slavery. We will have to go to war with Prussia later on for one victory objective. So I don't want to give them too great advantage there. We'll give them Grand Battery. We can certainly deal with artillery laser. I'll just do that again. I pressed the wrong button. Ask for a cheeky 1,000. Yes. Alright, should have asked for more. Not so we don't need loads and loads, do we? Just enough to max out our militia here. We want to move, of course, through here. I want to actually, while we're, even though we're damaged, taking Reims might not be the worst idea. Do we replenish a bit better in Allied territory in Brussels? And we actually replenish pretty damn terribly. So, do we only have these few armies really standing? That's absolutely fine. Do we still need a lot of these random militias about? Like in Chatham we need them, Marseille we need them, Copenhagen's the larger one. Do we still need them there? Not necessarily. I think another couple turns and we can get rid of them. It's just a blight on our income. We're actually not taxing Copenhagen. That might even be the greater crime. I'm guessing a lot more there. Okay, so let's have a look at our prestige. See how that looks now. Massive lead over. Actually, Austria is in second place there. The military stat is giving them quite the boost. That's very, very scary indeed. Prussia's military not the greatest, but Napoleon's still holding as the strongest. Makes you wonder what is in Strasbourg and in the shadows that we can't see, of course. So I think we'll end the turn and maybe even end the video there and come back to the Revolution Army with a fresh brain. We have another letter of demands from Paris, of course, so we do have one more turn before a revolution starts. Always seem to think it's 2 turns, but not a problem. So the militia is helping over there. If we exempt that from taxes, we're not quite going to avoid that there. We're not quite going to avoid that. Might lessen the strength of an army there. Massive amounts of militia coming out. Drill school in Denmark is always useful. Let's see then. Very interesting decision from the French over here. They very briefly sieged down Bordeaux and then actually try raiding the trade routes on the pathways here. But no, just gonna stand neutral. We can reach that with Wellesley, and the only losses we have are on our artillery at the moment. And we can certainly live with that. Artillery, as we've seen in the previous battle with Paris, it does do a lot of damage in the right positioning, but we can certainly win without it. So, I think we are, unfortunately guys, going to leave that there for today. We do have a general in this army now though, Edouard Mortier. I'm going to try and, can we assassinate him? Can't really see the sabotage success chance. Let's try it. Should just never try these things. Really should just never try these things. Yeah, it's 28%. No wonder that failed. Even lower on this particular assassination mission. I'm not going to try that again. No, I don't want to be saying goodbye to agents every turn. So all that we have left to do is spend some money, and we're going to be spending that on upgrading to metalled roads in Paris, because that does cover a huge amount of central France, of course. That will help our replenishment and our movement, of course. We might want to get... So we're going for metalled roads in London. We're not. Okay, so metalled roads is absolutely a brilliant choice. Going to do that in... We'll do that in Madrid. That's certainly making more money than Scotland. So we're going to be doing that here as well. We'll run down our coffers, but it feels like a massive crime to leave your roads unchecked. They do a massive boost to your economy as the game goes forwards. And to illustrate that, let's see, that does 16 per turn. That's per set of roads, so it does add up. It's a hell of a lot of money you can get from that. So unfortunately, guys, that is all we have time for today. Massive battle in Paris is all you're going to get, I'm afraid. Gonna take a 2-week break and scrimp on the battles today, but a massive strategic gain has been made. So we'll be pressing that advantage, and we'll see if we do get a revolution in the next episode. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please do let me know in the comments. It's very, very interesting to hear your thoughts and opinions. It does always help. So have a brilliant day, and I shall see you in the future. May all of your nights and days be auspicious.